Hi everyone, it's Josh with Brilliant Water Features. I know you've all been following me for a while now and watching me build this odd looking stainless steel feature. So I don't have any glass to make it work and plumbing, but I can at least give you the rundown of what it looks like and how the parts and pieces go together. Just follow along with me here. Overall, here's the idea of what it looks like. It's going in a hospital out in Pennsylvania. It's in the main atrium area, and you can tell up here at the top, this is where the hood part is, and down here in the planter, and then all of this is the glass where the water goes down. But you can also see it sits in front of a window. And so when we look at it from the top view here, you can see that we walk into the atrium here, come in, and there's this large open area. And from here, when we look a little bit closer, you can see that there's the planter area where people can sit, and then this red line here is the arc of the water feature. And from this angle looking in, there's also glass and windows that we can see with what's happening. All of this area here is supposed to be vegetation, planters, and stuff like that. And so from a side view, a section view, here's kind of the overall. Here's up here near the top. Everything's cut in half, and then we come down here into the pan. So the pan sits down here on top of a piece of block and then rests on top of it. And then over here is the area for the pump and the reverse osmosis system and stuff like that. So you can see the block here. You can see where people could stand over here and literally look through the glass up to the back side of it. All the while they can be over here looking up here as well. You can tell by the mechanics of everything back here is going to be wide open. You can tell that all of the neck of the plumbing connections here can be seen, but we've got a shroud here to protect the view from people down here. And then when people look up from this side into here, they also can't see this because it's blocked, and I'll show you a little bit later. But just gives you an idea of the raw mechanics of it. Overall, it's supposed to be about, I don't know, it's almost 13 feet in length, so it'll probably be anywhere between, based on the square, the shape of it, 12, 11 and a half feet tall. So here's a couple of basic pieces. We have the main throttle body assembly, runs all the way across. We have the hood that's down here, it's bent. Everything that's covered up right now is all stainless steel and covered to protect it. Then we have the pan, just down here. All of this is made out of stainless steel. So thankfully I've got a left and a right hand side to kind of show how the mechanics of this works like. So we have the stainless steel pan. You can see the connection pieces where the glass would therefore rest into. And when you look here, we can tell that there's the angles here are square. That's to butt up clean against the glass. These little pieces here to hold that shroud. Here we got the plumbing connection here that will actually suck up and come down to. You can tell based off of how it is. It's got a connection that comes down as well. So that's what literally sucks the water out. And then on this half over here, got little bowling ball holes to lift up the shroud. But the centerpiece there, we got the drain, and off over to the right is where the water flow would go to. But again, remember this is going to be down inside the pan, down inside the planter, so this really won't be seen. We got my jig here to hold everything up. You can see how it's made. It's made out of 2-inch stainless steel tubing. We've got a back flange over here for the glass to rest. We have my lock line pieces here, so each piece can individually be adjusted for each flow. You can tell when you look at the shape of it that here's a weld joint, there's a weld joint. All of that is set up so that it's to go with each piece of glass. This part right here, these here can all be adjusted up here at the top. This is for the shroud that goes below to cover all of this so we can't see it. This stuff here is for the hood. And so the hood, which is this guy down here, it actually has a hem down here at the bottom for the shroud, and then up near the top it also has an open hem as well. And so what happens is that whole shroud comes on, the corner of the flange mounts up against here, locks it down, then we have these pieces here that actually bite it as well. And so there's a total of 24 ports, But this here is what it looks like when it's got the shroud piece on it. And so this here is just a polished stainless steel to cover the raw mechanics of it. Here in a second I'll go ahead and put the hood on so you can get a better idea of what that looks like. Come around to the back, you can kind of see how it's shaped. This angle here is to support that. This isn't shift. It's made out of 1/4 inch stainless steel. And this is essentially this part here backs up against the wall. So therefore all of this here is open. And you can see it theoretically, but that's when you're looking down and looking up at it. Got a point for the plumbing connection here as well. Yeah, so then the theory behind this is that the glass will actually be placed down inside the pan like this. And then at the same time, with these guys will be able to be removed via the screw. But the theory is that the glass comes up inside here, and then these little pieces right here can slide in, be locked down, and then this essentially holds the glass. So the glass is resting in a vertical state. And then when it comes time to tuning, these things here can be pressed up towards the front, put a little bit of bend on it, and then they can adjust the flow on each piece that they need to. And so that's the raw mechanics of it. Probably took about 40 hours to design this, so it took a tremendous amount of time. But give me a sec here. I'm going to go ahead and throw on the hood and show how everything buttons up real quick. So I know it's hard to tell, but that's on there. And so that's really all that you're going to see across there, where all of that space is going to be the glass. What I ended up doing is you can see the open hem pieces here slap over the leading edge here as well. And then this part here, this part is connected to the shroud below. You can tell that when we come down here, again it's all finished and whatnot, but this is where the glass goes. And then this has been finished for stainless steel. You can see that this finishing screw, another one there and another one there, all mount to this piece. And to make it easier on them, I created slots in here to adjust this left to right. And you can't tell there, but there's a slot that allows this to go back and forth as well. So that's how it looks buttoned up there. And what I ended up doing is I made all of these loose. And so I'll go around the back so you can get a better idea of what this looks like. But again, you can see how it butts up into the open hem here. So all that we're essentially doing is just able to slide that back like this to get into position that we want to. Let's see here, I'm doing this with my left hand. And you can see that I slipped it under there and it locks itself down. So then when everything's buttoned up, and we'll do that to all of these just prior to final installation. But once that's all up and down, then that is essentially locked. And you can see how the hem is here and everything will be pushed down and nice and tight. essentially this entire thing gets backed up against the leading edge of the wall. So it's all covered up like that. So we come down here, we can see how we'd have all of these raw mechanics here. But then you can see how the shroud looks like. And the shroud has these little clips here, these little ends, tits, or whatever you want to call it, flanges that get locked up and tucked down into here. And so once all of the glass is in, and it's tight, it's locked in, that's really the extent of it. Well, that's the raw mechanics. I know I couldn't have just posted a couple pictures and people really understand what's going on with this. But there's a ton of time, a ton of thought put into this, and I'm hoping when it's all said and done that the hospital will send me a video of this so then I can share it with all my friends when everything's done and completed. So yeah, if you got any thoughts, any questions, just drop a thought down there in the comments below. But I'd be happy to build this for anyone else you may know. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.